Alright, so we're going to be looking today at how to multiply a 3-digit number, that's hundreds, tens and ones, by a single digit number. The number we're going to multiply today to start off with is 346. Now I want to think about what that 346 is. 346 is actually made up of 1, 2, 3 hundreds. It's made up of 1, 2, 3 and 4 tens, and it's also made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones. So we have 346. Now we are multiplying it by 3. That means we're going to have 3 lots of all that. Okay, so when we multiply it by 3, that means instead of having just one set of 300s, I need to have move them onto the board slightly, move the board over. There we go, is that better? You can see it. So I need to have 3 of those. So I've got 300, 300, 300. I have got 3 times 300. I need to do exactly the same with the others. I'm just going to pause the video, and are you ready? And so there you see what we have. We have got 3 sets of 300s. We have got 3 sets of 4 tens, and we have got 3 sets of 6 ones. When we start to look at what that is worth, remember, as soon as I have got 10 ones, I can exchange them for a 10. So let's have a look. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which I can exchange for a 10. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ones left. What I've now got when I look at the tens, again, I've got more than 10 of these, so if I've got more than 10 tens, I can exchange some for hundreds. So again, I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and I can exchange it for a 100. Okay, so I have 3 tens left, or 30. Looking at my hundreds, can I exchange those? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, I can exchange those. I can exchange those for the next tokens up, or the next column up, which is our 1,000. So if I have got 10 hundreds, I can exchange all of those 10 hundreds for 1,000. So 346 multiplied by 3 would be 1,038. Now let's look at how we can actually multiply that without having all those counters, if you don't want to use the counters. What we can think about is we can think about our 346. Again, we can think about it being partitioned into 340 and 6. And what did we do with all those counters? We multiplied all of them by 3. And what we did when we did this, we did 300 times 3. That gave us 900. The reason why that is we know that 3 times 3 is 9. So if you're doing 3 times 300s, it's going to be 900s. 3 times 4 is 12. So 3 times 4 tens will be 12 tens, which is 120. 3 times 6 is 18. We can now then start to add those together. You can see that I don't need to do all the exchanges that I did before, because the way I've set out the numbers, those 8 ones and that 110 are already in the correct columns for me. So it's now just a simple matter of adding these all up together to get my final answer. So I've got 0, 0 and 8 will give me 8 ones. 0, 2 tens and 1 10 will give me 3 tens. 9 hundreds and 100s actually gives me 1,000. So I've got 1,038 as my final answer. Again, that's another way that you can set it out by using partitioning. We can also multiply this using a long multiplication method, where we can set it out in columns. And what we can then do is we can then go along these, and we don't have to actually write out that this is 300, but we know it is. We don't have to write out that this is 40. We don't have to separate it out, but in our heads we know that we do. So we're now thinking 6 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. 40 times 3 is 120. And 300 times 3 is 900. So again, when we add these up, we will get 8, 3 tens, and 1038. We get it the same way. Okay. Now the final way that we can think about, if I just move this over slightly to give ourselves a little bit more space, is we can think about doing it all in one step. Because what we can do, we can also set it out and multiply up by it like this. So we can do 6 times 3 is 18. So we write the 8 ones and we carry that 10 into the next column to add on once we have worked out what our 40 times 3 is. We now do 40 times 3. Now 40 times 3 is 120. But we've also got this extra 10 here, which will give us 130. So the 3 tens goes here. Cross that out to show that we've used it, and our 100 gets carried into the hundreds column. We've now got 300 times 3, which is 900. I've already got 100 here, which will give us 1000 or 1000. So we can write it there. And once again, we get the same number. So we've got 1038 in every question. If we have a look at the numbers that we got here when we were doing our multiplication and compare those with, oops, let me just get this in the right place, and compare those with the numbers that we got when we partitioned, we can see again 900 and 900, 120, 120, 18, 18. It's the same thing that we are doing. It's just different methods of setting it out, different methods of working your way through it, but it gets you there. As long as you know your times tables, and as long as you understand what happens when you're multiplying by things like 300 rather than 3, the relationship between multiplying by 40 and times 4, it's easy. You can do this. Okay, so let's get some correct answers.